Sometime within the next minute or so, somewhere on the planet, another big idea is being born. It might be a new song, a new product, who knows? And who knows how to make this idea grow and introduce it to the world? Let's find out. Welcome to The Next Big Idea with your host, Peter Gantner. The program is sponsored by Kula Brands, dedicated to help with branding, funding, and marketing the next big idea. And if that idea is yours, you want to pay particular attention to the particulars. Peter and his co-hosts and guests will explain just how it's done. If you happen to be an investor or just an interested party, you could benefit from the efforts of Kula Brands. You could become a part of their community of folks who want to help others and make money in the process. If that sparks your curiosity or wets your whistle, sit up and take notice. Kula Brands presents Peter Gantner and his guests on The Next Big Idea.
Hey everybody out there in Radio Land, my name is Deborah Caswell. I'm going to be your host today on The Next Big Idea. That's the name of the show. And guess what? We have the next big idea. His name is digieBot. I can't wait to tell you all about him. And actually, full disclosure, you guys, this is a cryptocurrency trading Autobot. I use it myself. I don't know a whole lot about cryptocurrency. I don't know a whole lot about trading, but let me tell you, Digi is working in my back pocket every single moment throughout the day, looking for trades, looking for the right time to jump in, the right time to jump out. I don't have to know anything about it. I'm so excited to bring to you today the two gentlemen who brought this platform to life. I'm just going to turn it right over to Kyle and Brendan Duff. Doug and Brendan, please let us know, what is digieBot?
Oh, thanks, Deb. Well, digieBot is a completely automated trading system currently for the crypto world or the crypto environment. And both Brendan and I have been in the trading space for probably close to 20 years. And we started off in the Forex, building tools and automation. You know, it was a natural migration over to the crypto world. So Digi is a completely automated system that works on algorithms and not what we would call old indicators, Deb. So Brendan, what do you got, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, we've been around the block, so to speak, in the trading arena, right? I mean, I started in stocks in '99 and day trading, and I've traded futures, options, commodities, and I've seen a lot of different strategies, and I've seen a lot of different automations or attempts at automation. And I think what's really awesome is that Doug and I have brought our backgrounds and knowledge together over the years, and we've been working together now off and on for 15 years, and we're able to whittle it down and refine it into a fully automated tool that's combined with the strategy behind it, right? There's a lot of tools out there that we'll talk about later, but we bring the best of both worlds, right? We bring real world trading strategy together with automation, and it's something that's available to the retail trader. And what that means is, the folks like you and I, right? And almost everybody can take advantage of this, which has always been our goal. The institutional traders have been able to do this stuff for a long time. And it's kind of a club that, the retail trader's been kept out of. And that's something Doug and I have been committed to changing, and we're doing that right now.
Yeah.
Now, the little bit of experience that I have in cryptocurrency, I know that there's something else called the blockchain. So can you kind of help our listeners understand how digieBot might be related to the blockchain and what that even means?
Sure. Yeah, I think it's really important to understand what the crypto coins are and what the blockchain is, and really how this new technology or really new world is affecting us, right? Because I think a lot of people aren't really clear on that. So the easiest way for us to understand the coins that we talk about, whether it's Bitcoin or Tron or any coin that any listener may have heard of, the coin is really a representation of a technology. And so that technology is what we would consider the blockchain, which is a way in which the world records and logs data or information. For example, Boeing, I believe it's Boeing now, there's a number of very large corporations that are using the blockchain for their internal infrastructure of their companies. So it's really a way to handle data and information. So when we talk about a coin is at that particular company, for example, Tron or XRP. It is the technology that is interfacing with that blockchain or that infrastructure. And then the value of that coin or that, specifically that coin, Deb, the value of that coin is directly in relationship to the perceived value that the world gives that technology that's interfacing with the blockchain or being used by major corporations to help their companies. So as the blockchain matures and as companies and even probably governments and just every environment that you can think of use that blockchain or use that technology, the value of these coins that digieBot is trading, the value of these coins then have a true asset value based upon the use of that technology. So, Brendan, I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, I mean, just a simple, maybe a simplification of that is, and if you do some research on the blockchain, you'll find this blockchain technology, generally speaking, is the decentralization, right? It's the decentralization of processing anywhere from data to agreement on contracts to transactions, right? Banking transactions. All the big banks are involved with it now. As Doug mentioned, governments, I find it quite humorous because a lot of them will bash Bitcoin, and a lot of them now are strongly considering coming out with their own version of cryptocurrency, right? So, it's a technology that is supposed to be more secure, and so far it's proven to be from the standpoint of the decentralization, and it takes agreement across the blockchain, as they call it, to certify that something has happened, right? Whether it's a bank transaction, once again, or a contract has been agreed to, or something like that. So what Doug said, I think the most important thing from a standpoint of digieBot and trading is it's about the perceived value, right? So we're trading coins or tokens based on what people believe about the technology and the companies behind this technology, and we're able to capitalize on the movement of that perceived value, right? Which is very similar to whether it's the stock market or futures. It's all based on what people think about the companies and technology behind these coins.
Yeah, and to be clear, Deb, one other thing, it's because we come from like Brendan said, the futures world. We traded futures, we traded forex, we traded stocks. Anytime you're in trading, and I want to be really clear about this, it's the perceived value of the underlying technology. Yes, to me that's the more solid evidence of value. But there's also that level of speculation in the market, right? The fear and the greed in trading, and this is part when we get really into what Digi does in a little bit here. This is the part that Digi does so well, is because you got the perceived value, but yet you also have the speculative value or that movement that the market is doing because they're treating that coin as a trading tool, right, or as a income tool. So there's a speculative value that goes along with this also.
Well, I love that. And it sounds to me like with your experience that you had in all of those years in Forex and the other types of trading that you were doing, did it just come straight over into the crypto scene? Was there anything there that made you nervous, or how did that happen?
That's a great question. Brendan, you want to start with that? Because I got a lot on that one.
Sure. And I think this is the great part, right? When it comes to trading, and Doug hit the nail on the head, right? It's all speculation, right? In some sense, trading is speculating on what the value is going to be largely, right? And based on we use technical analysis, right? And we don't use traditional style technical analysis. We use what we believe is pure technical analysis, and we'll talk about that a little later as well. But I think the important part that we learn and we're excited to see is that our trading knowledge was very transferable into the crypto market, because people that are trading crypto respond and act on fear and greed and speculation, like Doug said, very much like they do in the other markets, right? So that is very similar. Are there nuances? Sure, there are definitely nuances, and maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later too. But Doug, do you want to hit on that, or?
Yeah. So I think you're right on, Brendan. And Deb, the key is people are people. So they bring the same ideologies, the same fears, the same goals, whatever it is, from one market to the next market to the next market. Yes, the markets do move different. Some move faster, some move slower. But at the end of the day, there is a person on the other side of this computer that I'm looking at here, that I'm trading on. There's millions of other people on the other side. And for the most part, they're probably the same people. Same people trading Forex as trading crypto or trading futures. A lot of the same people. So same psychology goes into that trading as no matter which market, okay?
Awesome. Well, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to get into the backstory of digieBot and really learn and understand where it all came from and what it all means. Doug and Brendan, I can't thank you enough for being here. We're having so much fun. Everybody, we'll be right back.
You're tuned in to Better Living Radio, streaming worldwide across the internet, and you're listening to entrepreneur and thought processor Peter Gantner on The Next Big Idea. Stay tuned. Peter will be right back. You're tuned to the latest concept on radio and on the internet, a gathering of people who use their brains to get a better deal. The day kicks off with none other than the money man, Dan Frischberg. There's The World According to Jackie Simmons, educator and mentor to anyone looking to build or rebuild their business. For the first-time home buyers and for real estate investors, David Mclaughlin is more than an exceptional mortgage broker. He's the host of his own show right here called Where to Get the Money. Let's not forget the weekly Dent Market Digest with Harry Dent and his co-host Rodney Johnson, offering a free daily newsletter called Economy and Markets. It's the talk and info you need to live a better life. Hence the name Better Living Radio, anchored in Bradenton, Florida at WWPR and broadcasting 24/7 worldwide. Tell your friends about Better Living Radio. Better Living Radio is on the air, and yes, it's everywhere around the world. Are you wondering, hey, what's the big idea? Oh, funny you should ask. Our show is called The Next Big Idea with Peter Gantner. In fact, we're back with more on Better Living Radio.
All right, we're back with the next big idea. Thank you guys for sticking through that break. We're so excited to be here with Doug, Kyle, and Brendan Duff and talking about the creation of digieBot, an automated platform that trades cryptocurrency. And I'm really excited in this segment. We're going to talk about the backstory of Digi. So how did it all come to pass, and where are you at now, and the length of time, all the good stuff that went into building digieBot. Doug, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you to let us know how it all came to be.
Sure. Thanks, Deb. Well, you say good stuff. And I reflect back, when you're building anything like this, I hate to say it like this, Deb, but it can be a love-hate relationship sometimes, right? So let's turn the clock back a little bit. Back when I started in Forex, right? We went through years of automation. We actually went through, I was involved with Revco was my trading account back then, years ago. If you guys are in this industry long enough, you know who Revco was. I went through the first embezzlement in the market. I lost all my money to Revco, right? And that wasn't the only time. There was multiple embezzlements in the Forex world in the beginning. So challenges with trading in general are huge. it's not just trading. You got the exchanges, you got potential embezzlement, you got to protect your money, you got to do all kinds of things when you're thinking about developing something like digieBot. So here we are, and we're in Cooler Brands, and this is you guys will know what Cooler Brands is, and Peter, who hosts this show, is my partner in Cooler Brands, right? And he comes to me one day and he goes, Doug, I got this brilliant idea. And I go, oh, okay, what is that, Peter? He goes, let's start a crypto trading software. My first answer was no way. I'm not going to do that. I've been down this road, and it's a hard road. I knew it was a hard road. But he talked to me, and we kept talking about it, and there was a lot of differences between Forex and crypto. The wallets in crypto, the way the exchanges work, gave me a lot more security than just giving your money over to the exchanges. So there were some big things there that made this different, and so I agreed. So he popped the next question, Deb. Next question was, well, Doug, how long do you think it'll take? 4 months, 6 months, 9 months? How long do you think it'll take? I go, well, I don't know. It shouldn't be too hard. So, probably, 6 months or so, maybe 9 months, Peter, we can have that done. Deb, 2.5 years later, literally 18-hour days, 7 days a week, 22 programmers on staff programming this.
Wow.
For the last 2.5 years. Now, we didn't start off with 22 programmers. We started off with our lead programmer, which knew nothing about trading. I had to teach, his name is Abbas. I had to teach Abbas everything about trading. Now he's really good. He really knows his stuff. But we started from scratch. And I think this is part of the thing that took so long in the beginning to get up to speed. But even if I had a team that was up to speed, that knew what Brendan and I know, it's still a major task, because what Digi is not, and I kind of talked about this in the last segment, what Digi is not a bunch of the old indicators thrown together to try to make a trading bot. And Brendan said this in the last segment, it is truly what the professional traders use, right? We have developed all of our own tools, which are, Digi is a completely volume-based system, which really follows the volume of the market, the big traders and the movement in the market, which is not an indicator. So to go from where we were, which our programmers knew nothing, 2.5 years later, 22 programmers, literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in this, to develop a truly world-class piece of software. And to do anything less than that as an entrepreneur or as an inventor is, in I think anybody's book, is unacceptable, right? When you have an idea and you're going to give birth to this idea, and this birth was for us was digieBot. If you're going to give birth to something like this, it's an all-in deal. It's not a part-time, I think I'm going to go to work and then put in an hour a day at night. It's shutting the door, digging in, and it is an all-in deal to make something like this happen. So, and I know Brendan has his own challenges too with his, he has his family and has all kinds of things going. So I'm going to let Brendan share a little bit about his experience of, where we are today and what we've done.
Yeah. So if you like peace and free time, you don't do something like this. No, there's some truth to that, but the reality is there's, without going over a whole bunch of stuff, I think I'll hone in on one thing here, because Doug said something important, right? We wanted to deliver something that had true value, right? And we knew already from our past experience, we've built pieces of similar types of software in the previous markets, right? Based on what was available, but we always had pieces, right? We always had pieces of the puzzle because we didn't have as much access to the same type of data that we do with crypto. So we had to, we really had to focus in on that, and we had to make choices, right? That's the whole challenge, right, to this entrepreneurial world, right? We're constantly faced with choices. Is how can we add the most value and actually get this in people's hands in the next month, week, year, whatever the goal is, right? And that's been probably one of our biggest challenges. Is we keep pumping value, and we have constant flow of goals and ideas to put into the software, and we have to chunk it up in meaningful ways so that we can get it in people's hands in a reasonable amount of time. And
right. And you said months, weeks, years, right? You said that. And so I really want to ask this question. You went from thinking that this would be a 4 to 6 month, maybe 9 month venture, right? To get something out there for people to use. It turned into 2.5 years. Would you do it all again?
Yeah, that's a good question. And when you look at something like this, I think there's two answers to this. For the value that we've created in people's lives, and when we get into Digi's trading and the trading results, even in this down market, as painful and costly as it was, the answer, Deb, has to be yes. There's just no other answer, because it's a tool that the average person would never have access to. Okay. But from a personal sacrifice on my life and Peter's life and Brenda's life and a boss's life, and even our programmers, our 22 programmers, right? Just the personal sacrifice on all our lives, if we looked at just that, the answer would be no. Because you just can't look at that and go, I can give that much of me up. Right? I don't go see my families on holidays. I don't go to my grandkids' birthdays. I don't do things that I would love to do, because I had to develop this tool, and we had to produce, and we had to perform. And in this world, a partial performance is a failure. And I think that's true for any entrepreneur. A partial performance is a failure. And if you're going to perform, you got to count the cost and be willing to perform at a high level. And so if you knew that going in, you probably wouldn't do it. And I think Garth Brooks says it the best, right, in the dance. If I knew what the cost was going to be, I probably wouldn't have done it, but thank God I did, right? So yeah, the answer probably would have been no, Deb, but I'm glad it's yes.
Yeah, I look at it a little slightly differently, but maybe we wind up in the same places. I think that's the true test of an idea, is when you get far enough along that you can deliver the idea, right? You measure, like Doug said, the value, and then you say, was the value we're delivering worth the sacrifice? And the value itself is definitely worth getting into the market. And I think, maybe the verdict's still out on the sacrifice, but, we're hoping, right, the reward to our clients and ultimately to ourselves and the company proves that the sacrifice is and was worth it. And at the same time, you can't be an entrepreneur and live with hindsight, right? It's always, right, it's always 20/20. And I think the main thing we can take from this is, not only would we do it again, but how could we do it a little better, right? Because as we move forward, is how could we do it more efficient? How could we do it with different levels of sacrifice? How could we leverage people and technology and things differently? And that's always the question we got to ask ourselves.
Absolutely. And wow, what an incredible discussion, you guys. I love hearing the truth behind this, right? The realness, the sacrifice that was made to create this incredible platform that will change lives of so many people out there once they get a hold of this. We can see that already. And the reason we know that, you guys, come back to our next segment, because we're going to talk about the Digi difference, the different things that you can find out there right now in the crypto space, and how Digi changes everything.
So are you wondering where the next big idea will come from? Well, you'll hear about it first here at Better Living Radio. See, this is the show called The Next Big Idea. Maybe you got the next big idea, or maybe you just like to make some money from it. Peter Gantner will explain when we come back on Better Living Radio. Each week in his live video market and economy update offered to his inner circle, Dan Frischberg delivers the in-depth, professional version of his famous market x-ray report, live and interactive. Now that means you get to ask all the questions you want. And if you can't make the live meeting, you can watch the report on demand. Then email your questions in and Dan will email the answers back or include them in the next live report. Week in and week out, Dan brings you the ideas and specific stock picks from his friends, the people you see on TV and read about in the papers. You'll see what they're buying, how they're hedging, and when they're taking money off the table. At last, you'll get to see how the insiders negotiate the institutional macro bonds that billionaires on Wall Street rely on, the ones almost everyone else never even heard of. When you become an Inner Circle member, Dan will share with you his lifetime of experience and guide you to the best teachers, the best stock pickers, the best option strategists. And you'll be invited to exclusive working vacations in beautiful locations for the Inner Circle only, where you'll rub elbows with some of the most famous investors on Wall Street. So, how do you value the lifetime of skill and experience of a top investor on a mission to share it all with you and help you become one of the few winners? If you've been listening to Dan for a few years, he's likely already made you tons of money, or even more important, saved you from losing a fortune. Now, there are limits to the capacity of the online video sessions, but right now, for a limited time, Dan's offering you the position of charter subscriber, get this, for less than the price of a cup of coffee a day. For all the info or to subscribe, just simply click on themoneyman.com. themoneyman.com. Welcome back to Better Living Radio and this amazing idea for a radio show. It's called The Next Big Idea. Rather ironic, wouldn't you say? Hey, if you've got an idea, you might want to talk with host Peter Gantner or one of his guests here at Better Living Radio. Oh, look, here they come now.
All right, and we're back with the next big idea. We are so excited to be talking to digieBot creators, Kyle and Brendan Duff. And in this segment, you guys, we're going to talk about the digieBot difference. What is the digi difference? So maybe, Brendan, why don't you go ahead and let us know your thoughts on that?
Thanks, Deb. And this is really, I guess, where the rubber meets the road and which kind of excites us the most, right? If you go out and do a Google search for top crypto bots, you're going to find there's kind of a top 3 to 5 that you'll find out there, very popular, and you'll see if you really dig into it, they're software as a service. And what I mean by that is they offer an infrastructure and they offer technology behind automating trades. However, for the most part, and there are exceptions, but for the most part, you have to know what you're doing. You have to have your own strategy. You may or may not have to have some kind of coding background. You need to be an experienced trader to leverage, right, the most advanced pieces of software. Where we're different, right, there's really two main parts that make us different. One is ours, we provide both the technology, right, the software to automate your trades, and we provide our strategies, our algorithms behind that you can choose to use, right? So if you're a manual trader, you can use our platform to execute trades. If you want to take advantage of our experience and the algorithms we put forth, you can do that in a completely automated fashion. You don't have to know anything. Deb can attest, you can set it up in 30 seconds. You can set up an automated trade that you don't really have to touch after that. With the other softwares out there, once again, I'm not trying to diminish their value. They do have a value, but they're for the really experienced traders. And I think, I don't know, it's something we always want to be able to deliver, because what we found from training a bunch of traders, thousands of traders over the years, is when it comes down to it, about 5 to 10% of them will want to actually manually trade, and the rest they just want you to help them and have something that's done for them. So maybe Doug, you could add to that a little bit, but.
Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, that's, I think a lot of people start off, Deb, with the excitement of trading, right? Wanting to learn everything they can. And we teach that. I mean, I love empowering people with knowledge. And we have a Saturday class and a couple of times during the week. We're very, very hands-on as the developers and inventors of Digi, but we take it beyond Digi and also educate people on how to trade. Like I said, I love empowering them. They start off lots of times wanting to know that information, but when you tell them, and this is super funny to me, because when I started in Forex, and it's true with crypto, the tagline is it's a 24-hour a day, 7-day a week market. You can get in any time you want, right? And you go, wow, I could trade 24 hours a day. Well, we did that. We were up at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, 1 in the morning, and trading those markets. And 24 hours a day becomes brutal, right? And so you go, okay, well, I'll start sleeping between these hours, only to wake up. And Brendan, you'll know this, to have that trade happen an hour or half hour or even 15 minutes before you got out of bed. And now you've missed the move, right? So then you become educated on the need for automation. And that's where we started, right? So the need for Digi is really, really high. And so that is the thing that gives everybody an edge, because Digi does trade 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you can't do that. As knowledgeable as you are, as great a trader as you are, you cannot do that. Now, I know we have George and Justin on this call too, Deb. And so, I'd like to, ask George, his experience with trading, if we have time here, Deb.
Oh yeah, plenty of time.
Hey, thanks everybody. Thanks for having me here. In a nutshell, as it pertains to my personal experience, dabbled in stocks, a couple other spaces as far as investments go. Heard about crypto about 3 years ago, give or take, and knowing by getting involved with Cooler Brands and how Digi had now come to the forefront, it was a pretty simple decision on my part to get involved. There is definitely a slight learning curve as it pertains to Digi in the crypto space, but as days go by, the knowledge just keeps amassing, and seeing how Digi, in my mind, it was a labor of love by you two gents, and thank you. It's made things so much easier and so more efficient, to where it takes, like Doug said earlier, all the guesswork out of every last bit of it. It's tremendous.
And Brendan did, thank you, George. Brendan did say that I could attest to the simplicity of the platform. And I just want to mention that it is a definite set it and forget it kind of a platform at this point. We went through lots and lots of months and over a year of testing that platform. And so there is the training piece too, which Doug talked about, and it's phenomenal, right? And it's all included in the platform itself. And I really do enjoy the training aspect, but even more so, I enjoy just knowing Digi's doing his thing in the background, and I don't have to know why or when or how. I just know that he's doing some phenomenal trading back there. Yeah. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, and just a note on that, Deb.
I was going to say one other thing real quick, and Deb and them are kind of alluding to a little bit of this. The other thing that Digi takes out of that equation, guys, and I don't know if Justin can talk about this at all or not, but is the fear. Digi has no fear when executing. So Brendan, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, well, I mean, just a point, right? And I think this is really the second main difference for us that I wanted to bring up is you guys, the people that come on board they're part of the Digi community, right? I guess people have called it Digi Nation, right? And what that means is you're actually hearing Doug quite frequently and myself at times. We're sharing our experience with Digi, how we're using it. We're talking about the markets, and you're getting training, guys. You're getting free training with this that is phenomenal. We shared this with a professional trader friend of mine, and he said, the first thing he said to me is, is Doug just charging for the training? Just the training part? I said, no, we include that. He said, he has to start charging for the training part. I said, well, we were building a community. We're not just trying to sell stuff and not trying to sell training and sell software. We're trying to build a community of people who can, get the value out of it. And I think that's what we're starting to see happen.
Yeah, I love that. It's so important. And I know there are lots of other things out there where they're actually selling the ability to earn money by introducing other people to, whatever in trading. And that's just not what this is at all. The hope with digieBot, right, is that every single person who purchases a license would actually use digieBot to benefit themselves, right? It's not about just come in just for the training. It's not about any of that. It's about actually using the platform. You want a whole community of actual users. And that's a big difference with what we see out there on the market.
Yeah, and we've all bought software and then you can't find a human behind it, right? This is a bunch of humans using the same software, right? And you can actually find human people using it.
Yeah.
And direct access to the humans who actually built the software. That is unheard of.
Yeah, we have a large group in Skype for people that knows what Skype is, and super active, right? And we're in there every day chatting, and we're happy to be traders together. So it's a different deal, because for Digi to be successful, right, it has to first have a value, and that value has to be that it trades successfully and that people win. Now, I know that's a novel concept in marketing, right? There's a lot of stuff out there that they don't care about so much, maybe how it works. Here, the foundation was first. How does it work? How's it performing? And is it a value to people, Deb? So,
not only that, in the times where we're going through, rough periods in the market and stuff, right? We're talking to our community, and they're frank with us and we're frank with them, right? We know when they're not happy and we know when we're not happy with trades, and we're working through that together, right? To keep improving. And that's critical.
Yeah, what a phenomenal platform you have built. It really is, and the simplicity behind it, I can't say that enough. It is really for anybody out there to use. And I'm just so excited about what you guys have built. So we're about to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to get into the digieBot opportunity, because not only is there an opportunity for you to use the platform, which we hope that every single person that purchases a license does so, but there's also an affiliate side with an incredible opportunity. So we're going to come back in just a minute and talk to Doug and Brendan about this opportunity, and we'll see you then.
You're tuned in to Better Living Radio, streaming worldwide across the internet, and you're listening to entrepreneur and thought processor Peter Gantner on the next big idea. Stay tuned. Peter will be right back. So you've mastered your craft and your product helps people. Now what? Jackie Simmons, host of her own show here at Better Living Radio, wants to know if you'd like to massively increase your sales. Introducing Ultimate Sales Mastery Live, a 3-day program specially designed to show you how to own your worth, claim your value, and make a difference. It's a roll up your sleeves and get it done event. At the end, you'll have a signature talk written and rehearsed, ready to take your show on the road, ready for any chance to speak, with an intro so solid you can stand on it. Jackie Simmons is a best-selling author. Now here she is on stage. She teaches online sales courses, and she's hosting boot camps everywhere. This one's in Sarasota, Florida, April 17th. Ultimate Sales Mastery Live. For info and to register, just click on joinusm.com. That's joinusm.com. You may know David Mclaughlin from his program here at Better Living Radio. A lot of people know him because he's helped them to get the money for residential and commercial properties when they'd just about given up. Diamond Dave Mclaughlin is a pro with a wealth of knowledge and a responsive attitude. Yeah, he's one of those guys who actually calls you back. In fact, the cornerstone of his business is built on great communication. David specializes in helping people with one of their most important dreams, financing a home, and enhancing the economic well-being of his customers one loan at a time. It doesn't have to be complicated. If you're looking for a pro to guide you through any kind of stress-free financing process, catch Dave's show. It's called Where to Get the Money. You can get all of Dave's contact info. In fact, the best place to find David Mclaughlin is right there on the homepage at betterlivingradio.com. Better Living Radio is on the air, and yes, it's everywhere around the world. Are you wondering, hey, what's the big idea? Oh, funny you should ask. Our show is called The Next Big Idea with Peter Gantner. In fact, we're back with more on Better Living Radio.
All right. Thank you, everybody. We are back with the next big idea. We're so excited. We've been talking to Doug, Kyle, and Brendan Duff about what they've built here with this digieBot platform. And as we said before we ended the last break, there is a digieBot opportunity here. And so we definitely want to spend some time talking about that and get pretty excited about what we've got going on. So Doug, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you to kind of talk about what we're doing there.
Sure. Thanks, Deb. Well, you know, I talked a little bit last segment, and I want to tie in here. You don't have, and I'm just a super firm believer in this. You do not have an opportunity to market anything if that thing that you're trying to market doesn't have a value, Deb. And so for Digi, before we ever got into the concept of marketing Digi had to be able to produce and be able to produce consistently, because if you're going to market something, it's not only the thing that you're marketing, you're putting your name out there to your friends, family, or on the internet. You're putting your name out there with whatever you're marketing. And in this case, Deb, it's Digi. And if you can't hold your head high, if you can't be proud of what you're marketing, then you shouldn't be marketing it, right? And so the first thing for us with Digi was to produce a tool that could make income without any marketing. That was a absolute prerequisite on anything I do, but especially with Digi that we're developing here. So once we could prove that Digi could then win or make money without marketing, then it became a question of how do we market Digi? How is the best way for us to get it out there? Well, to me, there is no better tool than the people that are using Digi and making money with Digi, because they can say, hey, I know this tool and I'm proud of this tool and this tool works. And so there is affiliate marketing, and I believe in affiliate marketing, especially with a tool like Digi that's working. But in this case, I believe in the affiliate marketing with our members because I want to create multiple income streams for them. One, we're making money with Digi. Two, if I'm going to pay anybody to sell Digi, Brendan and I both believe this. If we're going to pay anybody to sell Digi, I would rather pay the members that are using Digi to sell Digi than to go out and hire a marketing company or a marketing firm or somebody else that's not directly involved with Digi on a day-to-day basis. And in this way, we create multiple income streams that help people change their lives. And when we talk about the affiliate income, Deb, we pay 3 levels. If anybody that they refer to Digi, we pay 20% commission on that direct referral. We don't only pay at one time. Lots of affiliates, you get your one-time payment and you're done, right? No, every year that somebody renews their license, I believe that person earned that money and they deserve that money for the life of that person that's using that license. Now, if that person that you brought in, say your brother or sister or friend or whatever, they refer somebody, you get 8% of that referral because you were directly connected with that effect, right? You helped make that happen. And we go one more level beyond that, Deb. We pay, if that person brings somebody in, we pay 4% on that. Plus, we have bonus pools that pay to infinity, because anybody that you brought in, if it at all helps the Digi community, the digieBot community, if it helps us in any way, we believe if you were responsible for that, you deserve a reward for that. And in doing so, we believe in creating those multiple income streams. So, Brendan, I don't know if you want to add.
Yeah, I'll make a quick point. Just 2 things. A serendipity, right, to affiliate marketing in this case is, right, as we mentioned before, it's a community. So you can invite other people that you would like to have in the community, right? It's a community. And the second part, which I love, is since we do pay people ongoing year after year for renewals, right? It incentivizes them and us, right, to have a great product, right? So we get awesome feedback from the community on what they'd like to see in the product, and we have to keep performing as well so that people keep renewing, right? And I love that about renewable products because it's not a one and done. It's something that we have to keep exchanging more value, so people keep renewing, right? So it's a win-win, and I love that about this. And that's really all I wanted to say. It's a phenomenal model.
It is a phenomenal model. So those 3 levels, Doug, I just want to make sure the 20, the 8, and the 4, are all 3 of those levels payable annually as somebody renews their license?
Oh, absolutely, Deb. And the bonus pools that pay to infinity are annually renewed also.
Wow.
So yeah, and we have one of our members, Justin. He's on this call, and I'd like to, bring Justin on and see what he has to say about the Digi.
Yeah, before I started with digieBot, I knew nothing at all about crypto, or I didn't even know what a Bitcoin was. And immediately when I heard we were doing a crypto project, I immediately wanted to get involved. So I've been an early adapter. And I've learned so much through all the live, I've been in this Skype chat, I've been on all the live calls, and I follow along. And right now, my knowledge, I feel like an expert, although I'm nowhere near an expert. But whenever I get into anything, I want to always know every detail about what I'm doing. And what you mentioned before is you want to be proud. I'm really proud, extremely proud to be an early adapter of the digieBot software. And that just makes it so much easier to sell. And with those 3 levels, I love sharing it with people, and just to explain to them how easy it is to earn by sharing the opportunity, as well as earning commissions on other trades that you bring in as well. It's a no-brainer.
Wow.
And setting it up, the set it and forget it, if you don't even have to know anything about trading. You set it up, forget it in 30 seconds for a trade.
Thank you,
That's fantastic. Doug, did you catch this? I love what he's saying. He's an early adapter. And doesn't that exactly describe what we all did? Those of us who jumped in and helped with the testing and the development. Oh, yeah. We adapted in so many ways, right? When things, we're testing, we're expecting one thing, got another. And of course, this is, a year and a half ago when we started doing this, adapting. Patience, right? It all goes with it. I love that, Justin. Thank you so much for sharing your experience.
Well, in Cooler Brands, and again, this is, about Digi, but in Cooler Brands, one of the things we always promised was to actually show you what it takes to develop a product, a tool, or whatever. And the early adopters of digieBot, they got the whole cake, right? they got to see the whole thing. They got to see the late nights, the pain, the suffering, everything that went into it. So their story will be a little bit different than people that join today or tomorrow or a year from now, but yet the story has elements of the same truth. And that truth is the tool itself, Deb, first has value. And because it has value, you can be proud to do that. And the other truth, and let's just talk about this real quick, because when we talk about affiliate marketing, a lot of people go, well, is it overpriced? Well, Digi is actually priced less than a lot of the bots on the market. We don't believe in overpricing something so that we can play out a high affiliate commission or whatever. We believe, first, to produce a product that has value and make it fair to the market so that more people can participate, use it, and change their lives. Very, very important foundation for us.
Yeah, and I think real exciting, because I know we're kind of getting close to the end here, is, we invite people to come check it out, right? We share, we're transparent, and we share our results. We invite you to come check it out if you're interested in how you can benefit from the software. And, then you'll get a feel for it and see if it's something that you want to share with other people too. We're more than happy to walk you through that.
Absolutely. And for those of you looking for more information on digieBot, you're going to go to digiebot.com. That's digiebot.com. digiebot.com. That's digibot.com. Get yourself out there, read all about it. The website has lots of information about what this platform is all about and how it's helping people who don't have any experience in crypto get out there and start trading immediately. Or those of you who have lots of experience in crypto, you are going to love what you find. Doug and Brendan, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. And we can't wait for the next show when we bring you the next big idea.
Did you ever imagine that these little inventions like radio and the internet, that there was a time when they were considered the next big idea? And yet here you are today, having just heard a program called The Next Big Idea. Peter Gantner is your host. He's one of the founders of Cooler Brands, and they can help you whether you've got an idea of your own or you just want to get in on the ground floor of the next big thing. Peter and his co-hosts and guests are here weekdays on Better Living Radio to discuss the ins and outs of creating, manufacturing, branding, and marketing the best of the big ideas. Maybe you've got one, or maybe you want to be involved in one. You're definitely tuned into the right spot. So hear this. You can hear this program weekdays at the same time on Better Living Radio as Cooler Brands presents Peter Gantner and the Next Big Idea.
What are you going to do with your old car? You can try selling it, you could junk it, or you can donate it to Heritage for the Blind. Your car will be towed away for free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-639-8620. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats. It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. It'll be towed away for free, and you'll be supporting those that need help. Heritage for the Blind is a non-profit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call right now to donate your car. And as a special thank you for calling, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to many exciting locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now. Call 1-800-639-8620. Donating is easy, and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher. Call now, 1-800-639-8620. That's 1-800-639-8620.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
800-631-1754. 800-631-1754. 800